clear that we're deeply concerned about the safety and protection of people in Lashkargah in the south, where tens of thousands of people could be trapped by the fighting. Our humanitarian colleagues also tell us that in Helmand and Kandahar, there are reported increased civilian casualties, destruction or damage to civilian houses, as well as to critical infrastructure, including hospitals. Hospitals and health workers are becoming overwhelmed by the number of wounded people.
For more on this, Ashraf Haidari joins us from Colombo. He is the Ambassador of Afghanistan to Sri Lanka. Sir, thank you for your time. We always appreciate it. What do you make of this report from the Afghan Independent Human Rights Commission? This really does seem to be quickly turning into a humanitarian crisis in the country.
I would say it's already, unfortunately, a very tragic humanitarian crisis, which the Taliban, with the support of over a dozen terrorist groups with safe sanctuaries in our neighborhood, have created. Over close to 1 million people have been displaced across Afghanistan in places where the Taliban have launched these vicious, deadly attacks and offensives, adding, of course, to the already 4 million Afghans who have been displaced already as a result of their attacks over the past 5 years. So unfortunately, that situation, as the United Nations spokesperson said, really needs the attention of the international community. The United Nations Security Council just passed a resolution condemning offensives by the Taliban that have driven so many destitute civilians out of their homes and villages and destroyed their sources of livelihoods and incomes, and as well as public service delivery institutions. They've destroyed over 300 of those. This means that they're leaving really people with no option but to flee and escape for protection. And as you see, there is not much protection. They're quite right outside in the open. Women, children, of course, under the condition of COVID-19, where unfortunately no one has really been vaccinated, conflict, and as well as climate change adverse effects. On any given month, these climate-induced flash floods hit Afghanistan. There is an ongoing drought. So what you see is a convergence of conflict, climate change, and COVID-19 that unfortunately decimating Afghanistan's impoverished civilian population across the country.
Ambassador, we're hearing from groups within Afghanistan, we're hearing from the UN. The US is due to have all its troops out of the country by the end of this month. Is Ashraf Ghani's government going to cope? What's going to happen to the people who are in the country who can't get out?
Absolutely, we have been coping, we are coping, and that's why we have done our part. That's why we call on the international community to continue supporting the government of Afghanistan, because remember, this war is not against Afghans, this war is against everything the international community believes in, and the values, and including human rights, women's rights, freedom. We just set aside democracy that you enjoy in Turkey and other nations enjoy in their countries. Afghans are not asking for anything but a normal, peaceful life, which the Taliban and their state sponsor, which is Pakistan, are denying Afghans. And we have stood against that. We've called on the United Nations Security Council not only to condemn, but to take punitive action and to impose sanctions on the state actors that sponsor terrorism in Afghanistan, and the very violent ways that you see that are taking innocent civilian lives. We're not talking about our forces, which have been courageously fighting and defending Afghanistan, but as you see, they're purely targeting civilian summary executions. 900 civilians were executed, basically pulled out their homes and killed in the border town of Speedbolak, where the Taliban recently advanced and captured the city, as we're trying to recapture again.
Okay, we'll have to leave it there. Ashraf Haidari speaking to us from Colombo on that latest situation in Afghanistan. Thank you.